This segment of the news is brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.
Welcome back. The Health Services COVID-19 general rules, which will replace the emergency powers order in a few short days, will be subject to change where necessary. We learned this much from Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, Chester Cooper, who told parliamentarians as he wrapped up debate on the speech from the throne last evening.
Our aim is to listen. Our aim is to manage the pandemic, live with COVID as long as we must, and transition to a new normal. I promise the Bahamian people, we will not neglect you. We will not let you down. We know that you are our priority.
The rules come into effect on November 13th, the day the state of emergency expires. Under these rules, the usual requirement to physical distance, wear a mask, and sanitize remain the same. No curfews are mentioned in the rules. In fact, on Tuesday, Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Michael Darville, told reporters that with the government's plan, the public's already beginning to see that the COVID numbers are falling. The health minister noted, however, that the rules are very fluid. As cases rise, health officials will have to make additional adjustments. There's a 11:59 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew currently in place. The country has been under a state of emergency since March of 2020 after the first case of COVID-19 made its way to our shores. More CCTV is needed on New Providence. This coming from National Security Minister Wayne Munro yesterday at the Office of the Prime Minister's weekly press briefing. The minister adds that if the police are going to solve crimes effectively, cameras are needed.
And so I intend to meet with the police officer who serves on the technical team at the ministry to discuss with him what it will take to radically expand CCTV coverage in areas that the spot shotter records heavy volume of gunfire. And so and the system, when we throw out the real-time crime center, displayed where shots were happening, whether they were single shots, multiple shots. And so we have to use technology. We don't have a policeman on every corner. You can have a camera places that policemen are not.
Minister Munro adds that more help is needed from the public to solve crimes, as investigators are discovering that members of the public are not so willing to provide them with their surveillance footage. He went as far as saying people even delete the footage. A case example is the recent triple homicide in the Centerville community.
I am told by the Member of Parliament for Centerville, where the shooting took place, that persons are refusing to make available to the police their private CCTV material, and that only brings home that public CCTV is necessary, particularly in spots where they would be useful in identifying perpetrators of crime.
The contract for the CCTV was signed back in 2019 with Proficient Business Services during the former Minister of National Security Marvin Dames' tenure, at which time over 750 cameras were strategically placed in hotspot areas. Stopping short of calling the Prospect Ridge development for young Bahamian professionals a sham, Housing and Transport Minister JoBeth Colby-Davis, during her contribution on the speech from the throne in the House of Assembly on Thursday, said the Prospect Ridge development was, in her assessment, an election ploy, reiterating what she has been saying since becoming housing minister, and that's that the critical steps, including feasibility and topography studies, as well as the development of a master plan, were not done at all for the development.
I came armed with the facts because I understand the barriers in society which presently restrict many Bahamians from becoming homeowners. Therefore, it was important for me to be clear in my submissions that the Prospect Ridge development was, in my assessment, an election ploy, which ignored proper protocol and procedures to advance a new subdivision. I'm not here today to debate anybody's big dreams or intention to do something in the distant future. These are the indisputable facts. Anything else is just conjecture.
On Monday, Dr. Minnis told parliamentarians that much work had been done on the development to realize his vision of an affordable but upscale community for young people. In response, Mrs. Colby Davis tabled the Department of Environmental Planning and Protection's response to the Environmental Impact Assessment report for the housing development. This report points some 49 issues with the EIA, including, according to the minister, the document does not provide recommendations or observations specific to the property and its intended use, nor how it would fall in line with climate change. It also notes that the site sits in a valley along the north side of Prospect Ridge. However, the document does not provide any information relative to flood potential and flood control in relation to the present site, the potential for disturbance and resulting impacts to the surrounding properties. The report further suggested that the EIA could not be approved in its present submission.
The Committee for Development of Young Professionals worked on preliminary plans, and I take no issue with the work they did. However, it must be said that the Prospect Ridge development seemed a long way from being fully fleshed out as a housing solution for young Bahamian professionals. It was in the very, very preliminary stages. That's it, and that's all. There's nothing here to debate. Despite it all, my ministry is presently searching several land options that are ready for immediate construction, and soon Bahamians, all Bahamians, will be able to choose from a cross-section of the island, east, west, north, and south, as well as the family islands, to become first-time homeowners.
The housing minister also noting that residents of Grand Bahama and Abaco who were impacted by Hurricane Dorian in 2019 could look forward to low-cost housing options. Well, that does it for news this evening. Once again, I'm Leah Cooper, and from all of us here at JCN News, have a wonderful weekend, everyone.